All right, Odilon, welcome to PulpCon. You're up, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I don't have a slide introducing myself, but I'm Odilon. I'm working at Red Hat for 6 years now. I've been working on the Foreman project, and that goes to satellite later for 4 years already. I'm the one that takes care of building Pulp packages to be consumed on Katello. So that means that I take code from PyPy and build RPMs that involves building all the Pulp stuff and all the libraries used by Pulp as well. So that means a bunch of Rust in the last 2 years, and that's not fun because we need to render all the Rust stuff. That also means that we need to do C part as well. So sometimes you get core dumps, and then I poke Daniel about that, and they hate building stuff that have core dumps, but that's part of the job. Um, we'll go to the next slide. Feel free to drop questions in the chat, and I don't have a problem with someone asking during the presentation. So let's talk about do a quickly year recap. This year we built 3.7.3 with Python 3.12. I believe we're the first ones to go to Python 3.12. So we found some nice hiccups in the path as well. Uh, our main goal was to be compliant with Enterprise Linux 10, RHEL 10, and all the other rebuilds, because this is the system Python that they will be using. So the best part, so we try to be early as possible to caught all the problems that we wanted to get. So everything was rebuilt on top of Python 3.12 using the tooling and automations that we are using since 2023. So when Pulp does a new release, the PandaBot gets notified, opens a PR, the PR is merged, a package bump happens on the RPM side. We build on Copper. So we have a really nice circular dependence part because Pulp now is on Copper as a backend, as I was told. So we built Pulp using Pulp on top of Pulp. So nice way to solve software development stuff. Um, so PulpCore 3.85 was the next build that we did for Katello. Uh, it was branched from or developed nightly RPM packaging. We kept using the same tooling to do the RPM part, but the cool parts that right now we are going to start building the container that will be used on the container installation of Foreman. If you're not aware, Foreman is having a new installer called Foreman CTL or Foreman Cuddle. You call the way you want. It's the idea is to deploy Podman using Quadlets. I know you guys heard the talk about Quadlets yesterday, so we're going to use systemd to manage containers instead of using systemd to manage system packages by RPM. So we are going to start building our own containers for Pulp, and that's why we're talking about this today. Um, our container strategy. I know that Pulp does container from source right now. The idea on Katello side is keep building on top of RPM packages, because sometimes with building from source, some packages come with binaries already in it, and we like to compile everything top to down to ensure that we control the whole process. At least for now, we have tooling. We've been building RPMs on the project for 15 years now, so there's no need to change this part. We can consume RPMs inside of a container. We can do all the attestation necessary. So let's keep using RPMs. The main goal here is to use Conflux. If you're not aware, Conflux is a project that's basically led by Red Hat about building trusted containers and RPMs as well. I believe they're going to do RPMs in the future, but right now it's more about containers. So here we have Tecton. Tecton is a CI/CD on top of Kubernetes. That is the whole way of Conflux with a bunch of plugins. So our idea is build containers there, ensure that we have all the agreements like SBOMs and Salsa, agreements that we want to have. I'm going to touch this on the future of this presentation. And then we have stage repos on Quay and also deploy to production registries as well. So that's why we are using RPM as well, because we know it's stable. We know how to deal with all the quirks that we need to do. We know how to debug, to do the build route. So if we can consume RPMs right now, for us is easier than doing source builds and having to expend a bunch of engineering time in a new scenario. So we can extend the packaging that we have. Let's use that. Any question right now?
Odilon, can you talk about the process you currently have with building RPMs? Like there's a nightly
Yeah.
process, yeah?
Yeah, we have a nightly process right now. It's not on the slide deck, but it's on the last year one. We have let's say a monorepo on Foreman org, and this monorepo is a bunch of RPM, a bunch of spec files that we have. So each package that Pulp uses to install, we have a spec file there. And then we have a nightly one. The nightly for us is not the nightly for Pulp. Is we need to make sure that that is understood. Uh, right now we are using Pulp Core 3.85, so that's our nightly. Every time you guys cut a new version of 385, our tooling with the PandaBot is going to cut a new version. It's going to open a PR, bumping a requirements file. We merge that, automation runs, we bump the spec file that runs on Copper, and then we have a new RPM ready to be signed and publish it to users. So that's our nightly. And later we can cherry pick into the branched version, if you understand how we branch stuff, the same way that Pulp has a string of commits on main and later goes to a branched version. We do the same. But our main right now is 385, and in the future, if we move to a new version of Pulp, will be a new version of Pulp. That's part of our rebuild strategy to ensure that we have the latest and greatest version of Pulp that we can support.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir.
So Pulp CI images. On Katello, on Foreman, we do have this repo. It's just metadata repo with a container file. And here is getting a nightly version of Pulp. So it's the nightly version that I was talking that is published in a RPM repository. We are not getting from PyPy, we are getting from the RPMs that I mentioned before. I'm sorry, it changed the slides. So we have a container file for Pulp services. So it's going to install all the Pulp bits that we use in Katello. It's going to get the Pulp core packaging from our repo that is published and signed. It's going to be built by Conflux, and we will have automated changes, automated builds when we change here on this repo. Right now we are getting, let's say, CentOS string 9 tag, but my idea here is to get string 9 with the digest. So every time there's a new digest of CentOS string, a rebuild is triggered, and we get the new bits without CVs, and we ensure that we have the new version. Oh yeah, please. This is key. This is important. We love keeping the same name in this company and on the projects. So this is not the Pulp OCI images by Pulp. It's Pulp OCI images by Foreman/Katello. So it's another way, but you could consume this as well if you want to, because we try to make sure that we have all the tests and it works standalone. But please use the Pulp official ones.
Sorry, so I didn't want to say not to use yours. I want to say, no. If you're looking for this and you find ours, don't be confused.
Exactly.
Yes, because the way of deploying is different. You need to use the installer that Katello and Satellite provides. So the key features for this repo is we are going to ensure that we have images that are small and light. We are going to have security scanning, using Conflux machinery with Conforma. Conforma will be the one that doing all the scanning. And we have SBOM. SBOM is the bill of materials. So we have a JSON file. I believe it's JSON right now. I'm not sure if it will change in the future. That each package and each library that is there is documented. We have the SHA version. So if that SHA version in the future is flagged by a CVE entity in the future, they scan and compare and open an issue for us saying, hey, you're using Django GUID or something like that. And this version have a new CVE, the new version fixes. So want us to open the PR, and the PR is open, and we can just merge and do all the other stuff. Go ahead.
Do you know how big your image sizes are?
1 second. We can take a look on Quay. Right now, this one is not being built by Conflux. It's being built by the Red Hat Action to build with Builder. So it's 181 meg. It's not that, because we only get the RPMs and with all the compiled stuff, so we don't need to install Hatch Fleet poetry and anything that is not necessary for the image. So we only install the packages already compiled. So Conflux for Pulp. I believe the folks that work at Red Hat already know Conflux, but the ones that don't, Conflux is, as I was saying, is an automation part that you can use with Tecton, YAML files, and pipelines. It's going to provide pipelines on commits that you open, on PRs, on push. It does have enterprise contract. The enterprise contract is an enforcement using open policy agent. I have this described in the next slide, but I don't remember what it stands for. And we do have hermetic builds, so we can build the package with no internet in an air-gapped fashion. Like it's going to do all the prefetch for all the libraries before building it. And we ensure that all the packages are in the manifest, that we say that, hey, you can reproduce this build by doing this. We have this on RPMs, but this is a way to do on containers. We're going to do attestation by signing the image. So we're going to have a way to put a cryptographic key and enforce that that was done at the time by that using that environment. We have SBOM and Salsa tree. So they are standards about providing provenance and attestation that your software has a complete supply chain verification. We have a component model, so we have Pulp OCI as a component. Here's come from the Kubernetes world where you have an object that you apply a manifest and creates, and then you have an application that needs a component. So you have Pulp Nightly and Pulp 3.85, and then you do a release on top of the image that you have a snapshot on. So it's a chain of releases to ensure that all criteria are met. How we're going to do, we have a query repository, we have Pulp stage, where we're going to push stuffs from merge requests and PRs that go to, that were merged. It's going to be automated. We are going to merge, when we merge to a branched version, it's going to trigger the build, and we are going to have SHA-based tags, and we have the production repo, that will be a manual release process as the one that we have already in place on Katello. We do point-in-time releases, like for Katello would be 4.17.1, 4.17.0. So we are going to do the same for Pulp using the semantic version that we have on Pulp, like 3.7, 3.1, 3.85. And then if it's a rebuild, we're going to keep improving the latest version that we have there. So the flow here that we have it, we do RPM release that is backed by all the automation that we have. A container build will be triggered. it will be on stage. We're going to run tests against. We're going to do the enterprise contract validation to see there's no vulnerability here, and if there's one, it's low score, it's not fixed. If it's high, there's no release of the image, then production registry for users to consume. So here, as I told in the slide before, we do the RPM build, publish at yum.theforma.org/pulpcore. As you can see here, we have a bunch of versions dating from 3.4 to 3.85. We do have nightlies here. We're going to do the container build later and do all the technical pipelines that we need to do that comes with Conflux. Like here, I believe I'm I'm not logged, so it's not going to show. But there we could see a bunch of steps that Conflux does to validate all the images. It does scans. And all tests are automated. And we can even do ad hoc testing. So you have a GitHub Actions PR that you don't want to port to Tecton, or you have a good Jenkins job. You can just do a post and monitor the job running and ensure that it's there. I'm sorry here. Yeah, our branching strategy will be the same that we do right now. For the Pulp OCI, we have main/develop for nightly, and then we have a point-in-time releases like 3.85, 3.99. I'm not sure when Pulp will stop counting on 3 and move to 4. So I'm still not sure yet. So we are going to follow the same branching process that we have on Forma and Katello. It's working. There's no need to change when we are introducing a new way of build stuff. So keep with everything that you have. So security and compliance, that's the biggest goal that we have from moving to GitHub Actions to Conflux, is that we have a dependency tree, we have vulnerabilities being tracked, we have responses to CVEs, we have a trail that we can audit for compliance. We have SALSA level 3 support, so we can build in an air gap fashion. We have provenance of all the build, everything signed. So if someone tries to hijack our image in another repository, it's going to fail because the image was modified and does not match the signature that we have on the repo. I can show you the signature here. Farman MCP server here. So we have the attestation here. We have the SBOM here. So someone can get the digest of the image, compare against the attestation files and see, hey, that's not what we want. We enforce the enterprise contract. We validate release, everything before the release. We block if it's failed. We ensure that compliance is there. So that's, again, why we're not only building with Podman or Builder on GitHub Actions and why we're moving to other parts. Go ahead, Grant.
So blocks failing builds, assuming everything is green as you go through and the contract passes, how automatic is it from the point somebody says, we're going to push this, to it's available in production?
Someone needs to create a release artifact and apply into the cluster. For us right now, it's only engineers that work with packaging on Foreman. So we are using the Conflux instance of Fedora. So we try to be upstream as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And we need to have a snapshot and run the release. The release itself, it's another pipeline. It's going to validate all the enterprise contract. It's going to see if the registry allows a push right now. If not, because we can have times that say, hey, don't push. The enterprise contract can say, don't push on the weekend. And if the person tries to apply a manifest on the Sunday, it's not going to work. It's going to fail. And then someone will need to reapply the release. We cannot force the same release again. It's going to create another object in the Kubernetes world. So that's how we enforce. We have the release admission plan that I did not mention. The release admission plan, is the link between the enterprise contract and the release. It's going to do the match for all the criteria that you have.
Very cool. Thank you.
So we are going to do a security, a complete security and transparent part for Pulp, not Pulp, but for Foreman and Candlepin as well, since they are the main three components of the Katello installation right now. So here I'm getting to the end of the presentation. So what's next? Right now we are doing nightly and develop. So we're going to ensure that this works and Katello users can consume. But then short term for next year on Q1 and Q2, we ensure that we have a complete Conflux setup for us upstream that anyone can go there and audit and see how it's going. We are going to ensure that the builds are automated with auto release on nightly to ensure that it streams easily and faster for everyone to consume. We are going to do a branch process for 385, and I believe we're going to do Pulp 4 in the future because I know you guys are ramping up the Pulp 4. And we are going to document everything. So if you are a user, you can go there and see how it's done and contribute as well, because I don't want to be doing releases all day. I want you to contribute. So, questions?
All right. Unless somebody's got a question. Go ahead, Matthias.
So I think you said you built the images for the versions you are probably interested in on the Katello side.
Yes.
Not all the versions, but I guess the whole automation would just work.
Yeah, the automation would work for RPM's installation, but let's say you guys want to jump on the Conflux train. It's not complicated because you have all the container files, all the automation would be just a matter of not using GitHub to push to PulpQuake, instead onboarding Conflux upstream on the Fedora instance to use the upstream part of Fedora. I believe it would be easier. You guys have way more work done than us right now on the container side.
Yeah, that would basically be my next question. I think you said that you are using the containers with or like podlets in System D.
Yeah, that's
how they tailored to that.
That's how
generically running the application.
No, Foreman is moving to container installations with Foreman CTL, so everything on Foreman that runs on containers runs with Podman and Quadlets. And the team that is doing, they have an idea on how we should be using line. I believe that Evgeny would be the best one to talk, or Eric would be the best one to talk about that. But they have ideas of, let's say you have a Pulp OCI image and we want to scale Pulp workers, we just scale the worker process to more containers and ensure that it works. I'm not on that part of the side of the engineering task. I'm just building stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Outstanding. We have time for one more question if anybody has one. All right. Odilon, thank you very much. Let me stop the recording here.
Thank you. I'm sorry for all the